Once again, as the #1 seeded Cavaliers. So we'll be tied, Jerome, again, a finalist for the 6th man of the each.
Their poise in that second half was impressive. This league is oftentimes a first quarter league. And let's see who can get off to a good start. Remember, +11 were the Pacers after the first quarter in game 1.
Tony Brothers, David Guthrie, Nick Booker, our terrific officiating crew. And that is Tyrese Halliburton picking up where he left off. He was 22 and 13 assists in the opener.
And he does it within the confines of their system. And some might say that he is their system because of his style of play.
How does Donovan Mitchell handle the scoring burden tonight? Well, encouraging start for the Cavs.
Yeah, he's going to have to be aggressive offensively, but I felt like they just didn't move the basketball very well in that first game, as you see. And offensively, it's going to be important, but I really feel like their defense is going to have to be infinitely better than it was the last game.
Mitchell misfires on a 3. Remember, he struggled from deep in game 1, just 1 of 10 from the 3-point line. Pascal Siakam, bit of a mismatch, and then it's Jerome able to collapse with the help. Mitchell on the attack, brings out. Kept alive underneath. This is Jerome probing Allen. Where they need a big night from all of these other players.
And early on here, you expect Mitchell to be aggressive.
Nesmith.
This is where they didn't move the defense from side to side. It created a lot of...
Indiana won game 1 on the strength of their 3-point shooting. Can that hot 3-point stroke continue for them as Nesmith misses in the corner? Indiana was 19 of 36 in game 1, G, at nearly a 53% clip. Allen, lead pass. Forceful set up by Strus.
And really set up by Mitchell. If you saw how that Pacers defense was loaded to him, the quick pass to Strus and that deep dive there by Allen creates it.
Miles Turner working on the perimeter, surrounded, double team. Nesmith able to beat Jerome with the step. Allen to help. Nesmith the force, missed everything.
That possession we did not see a lot of defensively in game 1. That was a great job of not allowing the Pacers to dictate.
Mitchell Euro stepping in the help defense. Felt really good about what his teams did in game 1, but that look just never changes. Poked away, Turner showing some of his defensive abilities. Here's Andrew Nembhard again, magnificent the other day. Here's Nesmith. So Aaron Nesmith now, one of his first 3 from deep.
Yeah, you talked about it. They were electric from deep in game 1, getting off to a little bit of a slower start here.
Nembhard the takeaway. Jerome thought he was bumped. Siakam open floor.
Good job. But this is the first real not forcing the Pacers to move defensively. And I think that's going to work to their detriment if it doesn't change.
Darius Garland didn't miss a ton of games this year. Played 75 games most of his career. Last year, in games that they were without both Mobley and Garland, Cleveland went 14-4. So they've been here before. How they handle things tonight? Unleashed
for you offensively.
Siakam out to Nembhard, catch and shoot. A little bit too much. So the Pacers 1 of 4 from deep.
Yeah, the Pacers, the ball's not popping like we saw at the start of game 1. Credit that, I think, somewhat to how Cleveland's come out defensively.
Mitchell tripped up the officials. Won. Well, they big shooting night from Steve.
That is what was missing. They came into game 1 leading the postseason in 3-point shooting as a team. It just was not there in game 1.
Max Strus, last 2 games, going back to the Heat series, just 3 of 15 from deep. Shot clock at 3, Halliburton, Nembhard, that's a deep 3, barely gets rim.
The Cavs, they're not allowing the Pacers to move the ball with quickness.
Ty Jerome looking for some early offense. A little bit of chatter about the number of shots, GA, that he had in game 1. He took 20 shots.
Create a lot of offense. It was a lot of self-willing, and I think they've got to get away from that and have a little more trust in their teammates.
Donovan Mitchell right around Halliburton, just couldn't put it down. Halliburton on the run. One of their first fast break opportunities sets the table. This is Turner. The rebound for Wade. One of the reasons Atkinson wanted to plug in Wade tonight, his ability to rebound and defend with some of that length. Mitchell starting to... As Sam Merrill now is inserted for the first time tonight for Kenny Atkinson. Here comes Strus, contact.
Playoff runs he had with the Jazz, Mitchell felt like...
Wasted no time, but Kenny Atkinson has talked about some of those early conversations, unlocking Mobley, maybe pulling back a little bit, and everything worked to perfection during the regular season. But Greg, as you know better than anyone, boy, it's just different in the playoffs. Now the injuries, how does Mitchell navigate all of that?
It's going to be important, but I tell you, this stretch here with all of the substitutions in also equally as important, because it was when they went to the bench in game one, the Pacers, that they start to really create some separation. And let's see if they can be the Cavs a little more connected defensively here to start.
T.J. McConnell into the game. You saw the drought for the Pacers. Turner, hard fake. Indiana, Greg has missed 6 straight.
Haven't gotten their running game going. And credit, a lot more dribbling to start this game from the Pacers. That's not necessarily the strength of their offense.
Both teams struggling from the field. Cavaliers 4 of their first 13. As
in this Pacers defense.
Mathurin picks up his second in less than 2 minutes. And Merrill rips one from deep. Cavaliers now 2 of their first 5 from the 3-point line. Turner lead pass, Halliburton. Ball movement like a hot potato for the Pacers. They just can't shoot straight at the start. Toppin.
One of the other adjustments I really like from the Cavs, they've gone with a Okoro on T.J. McConnell, who is a much better defender, especially against a crafty player like McConnell.
Halliburton threads the needle on Toppin, and Turner's pass for Toppin too high. That transition that was so surgical in game one, just a little bit off kilter here at the start for the Pacers. Beautiful pass. This is Okoro underneath, and he lays it in.
Adjust corners, and they forced him to then have to put the ball on the floor to try to create better spacing, and they've extended. I love using Okoro more. He's probably their best perimeter defender, and so they utilize him on McConnell. Now he's going to get the task with Halliburton.
Boy, Nembhard crafty, finding some daylight underneath. First field goal in more than 6 minutes for the Pacers.
And one thing, if you're the Cavs, too, make the Pacers a 2-point team. Don't allow them all that spacing and ball movement where they can pick you apart and shoot threes.
Here comes Allen trying to cock it back and down. He's going to
defense a little more with Mitchell and Ty Jerome. And credit Mitchell and Jerome making the early feed to Jared Allen, who has made a lot of good plays here in terms of his decision-making in the half court.
Nembhard trying to get Merrill onto his back, chisels his way into the paint, misses back of the rim. Thomas Bryant has checked in for Rick Carlisle and grabs the offensive rebound.
Occasion, he is doing it all here for the Cavs.
Pacers have as many field goals to spin the fake. To the bright lights of the NBA postseason.
And, you know, he's not really tall, but he's really wide. And he's got tremendously long arms, and that width gives him great leverage. Charles Barkley was a player like that. Was only 6'5" as a power forward, but he had such great leverage with the width of that body. It made it really hard for stretches.
What a difference in Cleveland's defense, creating tempo and controlling the pace so far as Toppin with a snatch. 7-point Cavs lead. Obi Toppin gave Rick Carlisle some really solid minutes in game one. Here comes McConnell. Nembhard, travel.
And they're the ones that are carrying the day.
8 first-quarter turnovers. What will be your message to your team on how to clean that up?
We got to play harder. We got to play with more force.
All right, thanks, Coach. Guys.
All right, not to start to the quarter. Rick Carlisle was looking for, as Dean Wade, who makes the start tonight, his 31st start of the season in place of the injured Evan Mobley. Builds on their lead. Here comes Siakam. Big shot for the Pacers.
Yeah, they just need to see the ball go through the basket. Something easy. And Donovan Mitchell has been in control of this game. He is dictating right now. 4 assists already. He had 4 assists the entire game 1. So he has been doing everything to get this Cavs offense kick-started.
TJ McConnell trying to force the issue. No whistle. 10th Pacers turnover already. Tyrese Halliburton still on the bench for Rick Carlisle to begin the second, with McConnell handling the point. Donovan Mitchell, the orchestrator. Wade from deep. Offensive rebound, Merrill. Strus will pull. Boy, Wade getting extra possessions for the Cavs.
He has been incredible this game. He's won so many possessions.
Boy, and finally the Pacers able to track down a rebound. Well, can Indiana weather the storm? A team that really developed into one of the top road teams in the league this season. Looking for some offense and try to get calibrated now at this end of the floor.
A few possessions, he's kind of settled them down. They've gotten much better shots here in this quarter.
Couple of minutes gone by in the second. Good movement, Strus in the corner. Good rotations by the Pacers. Strus to reset Merrill. He's got to work quickly. 2 to shoot. Elevates. Long rebound, McConnell. Looking for some mates. Pulls up, free throw line jumper, and hits.
And that is one of the few disjointed. They've been rattled a little bit in terms of how they attack, and credit the Cavs for kind of setting the tone defensively. You heard Rick Carlisle talk about it.
Tyrese Halliburton still on the bench. Back Strus working towards the corner.
No doubt this Cavs team, they look about a half step quicker than we saw in game 1. A lot more confident.
Craig Porter Jr., second-year undrafted player out of Wichita State, has come into the game for the Cavs. Neesmith into the corner, Mathurin for the little fake.
To create great looks in the half court.
Trying to cut into the
on the bench. You've got to be able to cut into this lead to give yourselves a great opportunity in the second half.
Point was 20, is down to 14 as we cross the 9-minute mark, quarter 2. Allen trying to create some space, hounded by Bryant. Off the hands of Porter, turnover. McConnell, Porter.
Relies on winning one-on-one battles. They rely on their offense and their execution, and the Cavs have done a great job of not allowing that to be the case here in the first half.
So Mathurin missed the layup at one end, and then Strus off target. Boy, Tyrese Halliburton was a little bit hobbled behind the play. Looks like he's clutching in his left hand. What a big developing story this could be. That vantage point as Turner hits on both, so they've cut it to 12 as we come up on 8 minutes left in the quarter.
The defense has definitely gotten better here for the Pacers.
Ty Jerome still looking for his first points. He's 0-3 shooting into the paint. That'll hit.
Just settling, and I think that's
NBA.com or the NBA app for the complete playoff schedule. Boy, it is hoop heaven right now. This time of year with the NBA playoffs starting to cook. Andrew Nembhard fights his way into the paint. Reset Turner. Boy, Porter
of the Pacers.
Boy, Ken Halliburton, 13-point game. Good movement into the corner. This is Porter Jr. He will fire. And the rebound controlled by Indiana. Halliburton. But again, the Cavs able to get back. Turner on the box. Doubled up. They get it to Toppin. Brings out the tip by Turner. No. Strus clears. Here comes Jerome trying to get Halliburton on his hip. This is short. Okoro had it. Knocked away by Nembhard. Pacers looking to push. Mathurin from deep.
They're not knocking shots down, but they're getting better looks here.
Miles Turner on a deep shot.
Pace, and I think it starts with their defense. They are definitely picking up their intensity on that end.
Ty Jerome misses badly. Tapped out by Toppin, and Nembhard tracks it down. So we come up on the midway point of the quarter. Indiana has chipped away what was a 20-point Cleveland lead. It's down to 10. Whistle blown up. Turner turns and easily is able to shoot over the top. So Miles Turner back-to-back field goals, and we got an 8-point game. Can the Cavs get their offense reheated? 8 straight for Indiana. Jerome into the paint. Floater. Doesn't get the bounce. Strus.
How about the effort there by Strus? He read that miss. Able to get in and get the offensive rebound, and that was a much-needed basket here for the Cavs.
Boy, Turner, man.
There we saw Wade earlier, keeping possessions alive.
Strus. Indiana was down 20 points earlier in the half, but boy, they're making their push. Aaron Nesmith, who was sensational in game 1, 17 points. He hit 4 threes, and he's cut it to 10. Strus.
Okay, we have seen this type of shooting exploit from the Cavs before. They have been lights out from deep.
Max Strus already his 4th 3 of the half as Halliburton answers and goes glass.
And keep in mind, only 9 made threes in game 1, already 8 here in the first half.
Donovan Mitchell still struggling from deep. So we come up on the 4-minute mark before the half. Max Strus. Mitchell against Nembhard. Boy, that lightning quick first step.
But I like how they're utilizing Donovan. He's been a much more willing passer here, getting his teammates involved, forcing the Cavs to have to think a little bit more how they attack.
First couple of years with Boston, then the trade summer of 22. Got him. He showed up and went to the team. He was 2 years in, wanted to play on the summer league team, and it was the first indicator the kind of player he is.
Yeah, his character on display there. And the other thing, he's really improved with the decision making and the anticipation example there defensively.
First turnover of the quarter committed by Cleveland. Siakam, Nembhard wide open. Won't get a better look than that. And this thing is down to single digits.
And that's been a few times now where Siakam's had a post up and the Cavs have fallen asleep and lost cutters.
But that thing kept alive initially by Allen, and then it's Mitchell.
In that injured left wrist, he said, no concern at all. He'll be out there. He'll be fine. However, I have learned during halftime, Halliburton did get that wrist x-rayed. They are waiting for results. Obviously, he's out there, and there appears to be a significantly more tape on that wrist than there was in the first half.
They got that thing taped. I'm sure they worked on it after the x-ray at halftime as Indiana comes up empty on its first trip. Donovan Mitchell putting all kinds of pressure on this defense. Poked away. They keep it alive. Wade from deep. Look at Mitchell just playing on a different planet.
And it's also their ability to dominate that offensive glass. You know, you go back to game 1, they took 15 more shots in that game. It didn't end up in a win, but a similar dynamic here. 12 more shots in that first half for the Cavs.
Indiana gets it back after another turnover, and then it's Turner. Little leaner on the baseline, and Miles Turner now 17 points. Putting together a big night here in game 2. For a beautiful lead, Strus the fake. Mitchell, good close. Nembhard, pass. Allen missed it. Start all 82 games this year since the 5-minute in 2018. Such a heart and soul piece for this Cavs team that they are leaning on tonight heavily.
And they're going to need him. As you've noticed in this game, too, Ty Jerome, who's had such a terrific season for them, has had some struggles here offensively, not as confident shooting the basketball as Andrew Nembhard knocks down the baseline jumper.
Andrew Nembhard, remember what he did in game one? Playoff career high, 23 points. He hit 5 threes in that game. And he's got 8 tonight. That is Jerome with a little flick. His first basket and first points of the night.
And that is huge. They are going to need him to be aggressive offensively.
They're going to get Jerome. Most that they have committed in the first half all season. Jerome trying to get the defender on his hip pocket. Neesmith the leak out. Forceful finish at the other end, and it's back down to 11.
Yeah, and more importantly for the Pacers, a run out, right? Their defense leads to an offensive transition opportunity, and they're able to convert.
Only their 6th fast break point tonight.
And that's a stat, Spiro, as you see Allen continue. I'm not a big fan of the fast break stats. I try to focus in on how early in the shot clock can you score. If you're scoring in the first 6 to 10 seconds, that to me is in essence a transition opportunity.
Boy, what a feed. Turner, lead pass for Siakam.
Their offense, they have been creating high quality shots with consistency.
Mitchell
has had an all-around masterful performance thus far.
28 years of age, at the height of his powers. Well, they knew that he would have to play a monster game tonight. Short-handed as Turner tees one up, misses short. And Indiana is now 5 of 16 from 3. Just under 4 minutes gone by in the quarter. Mitchell against Neesmith on the wing. This is Jerome, knifes in underneath.
Even when he doesn't get it, he does a great job of spacing the paint, and it forces you defensively to account for him.
Oh, a beautiful looking soft touch. And Miles Turner cuts it to 14. Can Indiana string together some stops? 19 for Turner.
We're going to a little bit of a zone.
Fisher's going to say it. There's Jerome into the corner. Mitchell. And he finally. One of the greatest seasons in their franchise history, but even despite some struggles tonight, Indiana proving to everyone just how good that they can be.
They are a terrific team. They just have not been able to get into any kind of a rhythm with how they want to play offensively. And quite frankly, defensively, they've been nowhere near as active as we saw in game one.
Boy, Mitchell, beautiful feed, and Allen sticking.
Rebound. He has done that here.
Before this thing switches to Indianapolis for game 3 on Friday night, so that'll help their cause.
There's still a ton of time left in this game, too. Oh, my goodness.
Doing his best Donovan Mitchell impression. My goodness, where did that come from Strus? And this thing has ballooned back to 20. Halliburton bottled up. Neesmith is going to fire. Big shot for the Pacers.
And Halliburton ended up in the seats after that possession.
Actually knocked over a couple of spectators in a collision. Ty Jerome, a little bit short. And Turner, good box out against Allen. Can the Pacers respond? Neesmith dials up another 3. Too much. Rebound Wade. Told you at the top, Indiana was 53% from 3 in game 1. Strus thought he was back on the playground in Chicago with that play. Toppin, corner pocket 3. So back-to-back for Toppin, and suddenly it's a 14-point game.
Yeah, and we talked about this is an explosive offensive team.
Two-man action, Jerome and Okoro, 7 on the timer. Jerome's going to step back and pull. Short. Kept alive. Jerome, another floater. Missed again. And Ty Jerome is now 1 of 12 shooting.
He has really been struggling to find it. You can see he's short on just about everything. And this is a big stretch here right now for the Cavs.
When his team needed a big night.
And I tell you what, Daryl, this next 3 minutes or so is critical for the Cavs. And boy, that's a much-needed trip. Struggles here with his second unit. That is a great way to kickstart the rest of this quarter.
Boy, Okoro is hurt. Mathurin taking advantage. Looks like it's the left hip of Okoro trying to grit his way through. So 15-point game with 4.5 left in the quarter. Ben Shepherd defending Jerome. Strus pulls up. It's a rare miss for him, and the rebound corralled by McConnell. Can Indiana take advantage here with Mitchell on the bench? Halliburton on the bench at the other end, and that is Mathurin. Back-to-back baskets, and it's down to 13.
Yeah, great attacks there by Mathurin, able to get to the rim and finish up over the shot blocker, Allen.
7 points for Mathurin. Strus, and he just keeps on coming.
And if you're the Cavs, understanding this group on the floor for the Pacers, they don't have a lot of rim protection. You can be aggressive to get to the paint.
McConnell, boy, he beat Jerome, just couldn't finish the layup. So Ty Jerome taking over the reins of the offense here with Mitchell on the bench. Strus fires short. Rebound tracked down by Shepherd. Shepherd back to McConnell, open three. Boy, they needed that.
Yeah, they sure did. That not a great three-point shooter, but he was so open, hard to pass that one up. Was a great pass. Had a terrific all-around game here tonight.
20 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 blocks for Cleveland. This is Shepherd in the corner. Reset, Toppin into the paint. Well played to spin the fade. Tough shot.
He feels the moment. He knew he had to step up tonight. Now he's got to finish the deal.
Good luck, Coach.
Thanks, Jared.
All right, Jared, how do these coaches now handle the rotations? Kenny Atkinson, his team injury depleted as Mathurin wanted a foul, no whistle. Atkinson has Javonte Green on the floor. Greg, he's been forced to go a little bit deeper into his bench, missing those 3 integral pieces. No Mobley, no Garland, no Hunter. Jerome probing and left it short.
But Coach Atkinson knows he's got a lot of guys who've had opportunities over the course of this season. They understand what's expected of them. They're confident in their abilities. And having said all of that, there's still a lot of time in this game. And it's been that way. And the Cavs have been able to negate that with their ball pressure and point of attack defense.
Max Strus, one of the hot hands tonight, 18 points into the corner. Wade, now the reset, 7 to shoot. Strus taking Siakam, steps back, it's a long 2. Boy, Green had it, just couldn't squeeze it. Pacers looking to push. Nembhard trying to get into the paint. Look at Merrill. Knocks it loose. Here comes Strus up. Missed it point blank.
I think Turner might have got a piece of that to alter it.
This is now the breakneck pace that the Pacers want. Trying to make the tempo faster as Turner leans up and in. He's got...
That is a little faster, and what it happens is when you can speed up the game, you create cross matches, and that was an example of it there on that possession.
Boy, Ty Jerome, he's missed a couple of those chippies tonight. Loose ball, Merrill. Merrill gets another chance, and then Halliburton able to get the block, run out Mathurin, and he hits the reverse. And here comes team at the end of the third. 8 straight points. Donovan Mitchell on the bench. And Kenny Atkinson feeling the urgency, wasted no time.
Yeah, I think that is absolutely the right move because Cavs right now struggling to create offense.
Allen, Halliburton knocked it loose. Boy, tough break for the Pacers. Loose ball right to Allen and Mitchell underneath. Aaron there, their 9th turnover of the night. Early stages, 4th quarter.
To force the turnover.
Cleveland Cavaliers, 64 wins this season. Second most in franchise history. But boy, they can feel the stakes tonight. Desperately trying to avoid an 0-2 series deficit with this thing moving on to Indy for games 3 and 4. Off the Mitchell miss, here's Siakam twisting, turning, unable to convert.
And that's a lot to do with the strength of Donovan Mitchell. Didn't allow for Siakam to create the leverage on that possession. And that play there and the finish by Allen.
Exquisite find by Okoro, and Allen's got 22. Halliburton +1. Halliburton now just 11 in the fourth. You see him still grimacing in pain as that left wrist taped. Hurt that wrist in the first half off a collision. Mitchell elevates. Back rim, no. Rebound, Halliburton. 8-point game as we hit the 8-minute mark. Turner extending, and Mathurin on
This is what we talked about. Now you can just sense how much faster and aggressive the Pacers are playing right now.
Indiana has taken the momentum, and they've changed the tempo of this game. In their 6-point game. Or something about this Pacers team. They start to smell blood in the waters as Halliburton misses a floater.
Yeah, and it's really about style of game. Right now, they're getting back to playing their game. They're dictating the tempo here to start this fourth.
Mitchell splits 2 off the bounce. Swallowed.
The Pacers were dirty or intentional, but those plays that ultimately hurt DeAndre Hunter and Evan Mobley, that excessive line is, we want to make sure our players are available to play in the playoffs. Obviously, he's got 3 key guys that are out right now, 2 of them injured in game 1.
And Jared, we all are big fans of Kenny Atkinson. I didn't see it that way. I didn't think that the physicality in that first game was excessive by any means. I just thought that the Cavs, I should say the Pacers, were just the more physical and aggressive team.
Benedict Mathurin has. So apparently it was a delay of game, second against Indiana. And both teams have been hit with a technical in that category tonight. Mitch finally getting his due now as the new coach of the year in the league. The chess match is just so intense.
And it builds. That's the thing about the postseason, because you know each other so well. You're not tricking anybody. And because of that knowledge and the knowing of tendencies, it allows the game to get even more physical. And that's why it's so important to control your emotions and control and not have this thing get out of hand.
13 foul against the Cavs. Indiana is already over the limit. Well, still 6 and change left in regulation. Nembhard steps back, fires, rims out. Neesmith sneaks in. That cuts it to 6. But keep in mind what Indiana has done as a comeback team. Remember, they were down 20 in the clincher in the previous round against the Bucks. That miraculous win in overtime. Okoro, it slipped right.
A little bit offensively here.
Third turnover in the quarter by the Cavs. Turner under. Come on! Boy, D'ing up in a tough spot.
That was a heck of a rotation there by Strus. Just got Turner outside of his comfort zone just enough to affect the shot.
Here comes Jerome trying to turn the corner. Bump to the deck. It's loose. Bodies all over the. Mitchell. Inbound, Strus elevates. Short. Fight for it. Siakam. So Max Strus now 4 of 11 from deep. He's cooled off after that hot start. Nembhard 2-man action. Pulls up. Short. Offensive rebound. Turner gets it back. Boy, misses a couple of chippies.
And he's just got to be a little more patient there. You've got a huge size advantage. A lot of times, though, in your mind, you're expecting Allen to be there on the attack.
Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell, his 27th shot tonight. He's got 42 for Cleveland. Nembhard little bit of contact.
The finish.
This crowd, where you can feel the nervousness in this building.
And part of it is for this group, you know, when you're this short-handed, Ty Jerome would be one of those guys offensively that you rely on. Game, your defense is going to be set.
Here comes Strus, a little bit of contact, and he lays it in. That'll get it to 7, and Strus has 20. A short-handed Cavaliers team trying to will themselves over the finish line. Nembhard looking for some daylight. Turner underneath, a spin and a lay-in finish.
And that time he took his time. He was able to see where Allen was before he went into his move. Great job finishing there.
Miles Turner putting together a big night. 23 points. Here comes Okoro into the paint.
Threes. And if you're everybody else to beat you.
Nesmith corner 3, and he buries it.
And that is the one thing, if you're the Cavs, you wanted to avoid. You've done such a good job of making the Pacers take tough twos. That time just a breakdown defensively.
Nesmith with his 5th triple of the night. Mitchell, he will not stop.
So the two things we said you wanted to avoid, right? Don't give up open rhythm threes, particularly in the corner if you're the Cavs. And if you're the Pacers, don't allow Donovan Mitchell to get to the rim.
Halliburton, tough contested layup in traffic. They come up empty. And we hit the 3-minute mark left here in Cleveland. Mitchell against Nesmith, who's been brilliant with his defense, and he comes up with the theft. Cavs scurrying back, Turner into the corner. This is Nembhard from deep.
I'll tell you what, this has been a terrific game. I mean, and if you're both teams, even in the loss, if you're the Pacers, you're going to feel better about how your group has rallied and responded.
Tomorrow, Knicks and Celtics, and Denver trying to take what would be a shot.
He's getting switched on bigs, having to guard the post. And there's a lot being asked of their franchise player.
His 16th and 17th free throws of the night. And this place is rocking. Nembhard into the paint. Turner, good close by Strus, trying to turn the corner. Goes glass, missed it, but Max Strus playing some defense.
Strus, but I tell you what, Jared Allen on the ball with Nembhard also. A lot of times, it's the initial point of attack defense that sets up a defensive possession. How about the defense there by Miles Turner to force the difficult shot.
So Turner returns the favor. Here comes Siakam, Indiana. Mitchell up high. Dead ball situations, just trying to take those deep breaths.
Contact.
Mitchell skies in, and then he lost it. 6-point game. We're down to 90 seconds. Halliburton working into the paint. Masterful play by Halliburton. Teams are out of fouls. 1:14 left. Mitchell, shadow, double team. Gets it to Strus from deep to get the ice bath ready. Can they hold them off here? Final 66 seconds. Halliburton chiseling to the cup. That'll cut it to 5.
They got to get the ball on the free throw line. There's enough time in a 2-possession game to play it out.
They get it into the hands of Mitchell. 20th and 21st free throws of the night.
Possessions for this group, but collectively, they've done a great.
What's at stake? You can put this up with anything he's done in his career. Siakam.
They're going to be pressing.
And just keep in mind what Indiana did in that clincher against Milwaukee. Look at that stick back. This is all you want in the NBA playoffs. 47 seconds, contact.
And no Mitchell in the game right now.
Mitchell is on the Cleveland bench. Halliburton against Allen, who extends his defense. Halliburton on the attack. Allen gets him from the back. Burton, and here we go. 10 seconds. Nembhard. On the wing, Siakam attacks and lays it in. It's a one-possession game, 27.5. 25 seconds, unbelievable.
And really the Cavs have struggled the entire game getting the ball inbound.
Halliburton sizes up Jerome, and here he comes to the cup. Contact. Don't have a timeout.
Job of getting open.
Misses. Halliburton the rebound. 9 seconds. They do have a timeout. Carlisle's going to let him play. Halliburton steps back and hits hard. And it is over.
Wow.
The Indiana Pacers.